Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be Chasing Women is Feminine and Submissive. Well, today I've got an email from a female viewer who's been following my work, and she originally found my work because she was trying to figure out a situation with a guy that she had been dating. And she basically writes in an email talking about chasing and talking how pretty much every single guy she's ever dated that's chased, blowing up her phone, run after her like you see in all the movies and TV shows these days, she's 100% of the time gotten turned off, and she goes into detail and explains why this is. So you're going to get this because I've been teaching this for a long time, and here we have yet another woman who's validating and confirming the things that I teach. So you can hear it from a woman's point of view, how it's a turnoff when guys do these things. So I have a quote that I wrote. I'm going to read that, then I'm going to go through her email. And the quote says, "Society has incorrectly taught women a false mental construct that men are only interested in them if they pursue aggressively, and that this is what they should want, when the reality is that they are only attracted to and will feel chemistry for men, where women have to do most of the pursuing themselves. This is the main reason why most of the time when a man asks a woman about dating, attraction, or relationship advice, he only gets answers that confuse him more, mix him up, and cause him to fail with women. What women think they want and what they are actually attracted to is the exact opposite of what they've been taught and most often believe. Therefore, men should only take pickup, dating, and relationship advice from men and women who are in the type of relationships that they would love to have themselves, that are effortless, drama-free, argument-free, crazy head over heels in love with each other, and where they have been together for a long time." Because especially women that say, oh, it should be 50-50, their relationships don't last, because eventually the guys start to resent the fact that the women are trying to be the men in the relationship, and eventually they leave. So she says, "Hello, Corey. This is more of a comment than a question. I'm a single female in my mid-30s, and I stumbled onto your website today, and I just want to say, from the perspective of a woman, you have absolutely, positively nailed it. No pun intended. You are so insightful. Everything in the post was spot on, and many of your posts gave me insight into my own behavior with men and dating. Myself and most women say we want to be courted and pursued, but to your point, chasing women is innately feminine, submissive, and a turnoff to women who want a masculine, assertive man. This was also an epiphany for me, because we females are conditioned to believe a man is only interested if he pursues you aggressively. It's like women that say, I want a guy that wines me, dines me, and buys me flowers. And yet they get guys that constantly do that. And then you say, well, tell me about the last guy that you were crazy in love with. And it turns out he never did any of those things. He actually did the exact opposite, and it drove her nuts. In a good way. It's the ultimate dichotomy. For the last few years, I've gotten so used to dating the type of men who chases that my perspective is all fucked up. Since these chasers aggressively and sometimes obsessively pursued the relationship, I never had to initiate text messages, phone calls, dates, etc. Ever. I also had very little chemistry with most of these guys. Notice what she just said. I also had very little chemistry with most of those guys. Remember, it is a scientific fact that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. Even though women think and have been told that it's the exact opposite. When you talk about, tell me about the guys that you actually date and have fallen in love with. Tell me what they did. Tell me what it was that you were so attracted to them, what you liked so much. And none of them will tell you about the squishy guys who bought flowers and chocolates and expensive dates and were always kissing their ass and fixed their kitchen sink and fixed their car and would drive them around town, replace their car battery, whatever it happened to be. We're always doing things for them. That's what you see in movies and TV all the time. That's what feminism has done. It's just taking shit way to the extreme. And so you literally, that's another reason why my book is How to Be a 3% Man, because only 3% of the world's men understand these things about women. That's why most guys, when you say, hey, do you understand women? They're like, ask that question. If you're a man or a woman, ask every guy you know, do you understand women? They'll go, that'll be like, they'll look at you like that's the most fucking absurd statement they've ever heard. Because they don't. And when a guy says he doesn't understand women, there's a really fucking good chance if he's married or the woman he's in a relationship with, he may love her and he may care about her, but he's never been crazy head over heels in love with her. Because he gave up on what he really wanted. I mean, I did that in my 20s. I wrote about it in my book. And I wasn't fucking happy. And most people just put up with it because it's what their parents, what their fathers did, it's what all of their friends do, and pretty much most guys that they know do. And society makes all kinds of excuses for it. Oh, well, that's not real love. Being crazy head over heels, oh, that's just a fantasy. And that's bullshit. If you don't absolutely love hanging out with the person you're with and having a kick-ass time, even when you're not having sex, if you don't like listening to the person that you're with, if you don't find them fascinating, or the way their mind works fascinating, or their personality quirks, or the silly, goofy things that they do, or the weird voices that they make, or the playful things that they do, you're wasting your fucking time. We come into this world to be fucking amazing, not mediocre. I found your site while trying to understand a new guy I've been dating for just a few weeks. When we initially met, chemistry was through the roof, and the same applies when we date and hang out now. He is always warm and affectionate in person, but I would say 90% of the time we text, I have to be the one to initiate the text. Isn't that interesting? She has to do most of the pursuing, and since she's doing most of the pursuing, her perception is, we have so much chemistry. Women need time and space away from a guy to wonder about him, to think about him, to discover her feelings for him, for her feelings to grow. And if you're always in her face, that communicates neediness, desperation, that you fear you're going to lose her to another man. If you were a catch and you had lots of choices and options with women, you're going to be selective. And therefore, you're not going to be just running after any old woman. You're going to make sure you're with a woman who not only knocks your socks off, but she makes you feel desired and wanted as well. But guys who have a scarcity mindset, they're trying to force things and they're chasing after women because they've got few choices and few options. And they feel like they're going to lose this person. Because they feel they're going to lose this person, they're always running after her. And what you fear you attract. And since they're always running after her, eventually they get friend zoned. Eventually the woman says, I just don't feel we have enough chemistry. Literally at this point, I think it's 1,700 videos I think I have. Just countless stories, men and women all over the world in every kind of society, government system, religious background. Women respond to what they respond to. Men respond to what they respond to. And when you understand that, whether you're a man or a woman, it gives you the power back in your own relationships to understand. Especially like this case is a woman. Now she understands why she feels what she feels for this guy. So instead of just running around and being run by her emotions, now she can understand why she feels the emotions that she feels. So she can keep a level head, not pursue him too much, but also not get too heavily involved if he turns out to be a fucking schmuck. When I do text him, he always responds to my texts pretty fast, usually within minutes to a couple of hours at the most. Sometimes he responds right away. In other words, when he's available and he's not nothing going on, he responds right away. But if he's busy, if he's in a meeting, he might wait a few hours because he just can't get to it. And I talk about this in my book. So men, when they're not with their women, should be focused on their mission and their purpose in life and being fucking awesome as a human being, as a man. When I initiate the text, he'll usually engage me and will text back and forth a few times in each exchange. I can only think of one instance where he didn't respond to a text I sent him the same day, and when he did respond 2 days later, he apologized for taking too long to respond and explained why. Sometimes he responds right away, sometimes it's 2 days, but he had a good, valid reason. He wasn't jerking her around. Obviously something happened, and he explained himself, and the explanation was obviously reasonable because she gave him a pass on it. But at the end of the day, those 2 days, she's going, did I do something wrong? Does he not like me? Does he not care about me? And she probably talked to every single one of her girlfriends. He usually responds right away. I don't get it. What's going on? Think about it. If she's talking about you, if she's thinking about you when you're not talking to her and you're not around, it has a positive effect on her attraction level for you. It causes her to like you and want you more. It's human beings, men and women both. We all tend to appreciate what we have to work harder for in life. Anything that just comes easy, too easy, we don't appreciate it and we don't value it. That's why guys who chase and pursue and act needy and desperate, they don't act like they have any value, and therefore the women, they don't perceive them as having any value. But in this particular case, it's like it causes her to stay on her toes, to be on her best behavior, if you will, to put her best foot forward because she doesn't want to screw it up. Because this guy is completely the opposite of just about every other guy that she's dated in the past several years. So she realized, I really got somebody here that really looks like a great prospect. If we hang out or go on a date, I always have to be the one to initiate and plan, but he always says yes and pays when we do. So she's even asking him out in the dates. Based on your site, I guess I shouldn't take the fact that he's not chasing me to mean he's not interested. Maybe he's read your site. Maybe. And maybe you have a really high level of attraction for him, which is obvious that you do. But one of the things I would caution you on is that you're the one that's bringing up getting together all the time. Just make sure that he's treating you properly and he's not just going along with things. That's definitely something to consider. Maybe you just wait a couple of days to call him just to see what he does, to see how he reacts. If you haven't heard from him in a couple of days, just see what happens. See if he reaches out. Because you want to make sure that he also is making the effort. You don't want to, because the guy really should be he should be the one asking you out, and you're not only are you calling and pursuing him, but you're also the one doing the asking out. But maybe you're so excited to see him, you're bringing it up right away, and that's okay too. But like I said, pay attention to that. Pay attention to how much effort he is making, and make sure that he makes you feel desired and wanted, because it's possible as a woman that you chase and pursue too much to the point where he starts to take you for granted. Remember this philosophy. When someone treats you properly, they get the gift of your time. When they don't, they get the gift of missing you. And so if you need to use that on them, just be cognizant, be aware of that, so you don't get all goo goo gaga and then get your heart broken by a guy that's just not that into you. Definitely something to pay attention to. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session with yours truly. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.